almost half my life has been with you. Can you imagine it? You're the pilot, I'm the co-pilot. You want to go full steam ahead into the storm, and I think actually is there a way to go round the storm to get to the same destination?
Fuck it, go to the eye of the storm. The older you get, the less fucks you give.
The school can be quite a rough place.
This is going to trigger me like the bullies did at school. But I'm happy to say, yeah, at school I was bullied. Do your parents proud. You're trying to find a girlfriend. You're trying to have friends. You're going bold. I will hold my hands up now and say I would be lost on the dating scene.
How that's going to happen?
I've got two in mind. I'm not going to mention them. Or am I? The modern relationship.
The modern relationship.
My effort to try and mask the fact that I was balding, I thought what would be a great idea would be to...
Welcome back to At Home with the Hutchinsons. You're joined by me, Amelia, and...
my lovely husband, Cameron. I thought you were going to say that.
You are my lovely husband, but you got to mix it up every now and then.
Yeah, I guess.
On these intros. Today we're talking about really who we were before Gabriel, I think, is an important segment.
Who we were before Gabriel, who we were before we moved to Dubai, who we were when we were younger.
And who we continue to be. So we've reflected a lot in the last few episodes, and we've reflected a lot personally about who we are, what we stand for, our values, our visions, and lots of things like that. And today we're thinking about actually we've kind of reached a natural age where we feel probably the most confident that we have felt in ourselves.
Agreed.
Whether that's parenthood, whether that's marriage, whether that's because we're both doing well at work, it's a difficult one to pinpoint.
Well, that's why I said I don't think it's an evaluation of who we were before Gabriel versus now. I actually think it's as we get older, and it's kind of a phenomenon. The older you get, the more confident you become, the less fucks you give. Mm-hmm. And therefore, as you become older and you move through life, you're more sure of who you are. You're more sure of what you like. More importantly, you're more sure of what you don't like. And I think that's more the evaluation. Yeah. I think as we've become parents, other things have become important to us for sure. But, you know, if you rewind back to when we first got together, would you say, and I know my answer to this, you were more insecure when you were younger?
Of course. Yeah, I think everyone is though. You haven't really found your stride. You're in school, let's say high school. Everybody's on to the next thing, whether they're working, going to university, whether they don't have a plan. There is pressure on you at a young age to know what you're doing, and I guess that in itself builds insecurity. Plus, school can be quite a rough place if you're getting called names or whatever. And I just think that whole time is really just, it's difficult. But I think you move past it and you find your stride, whatever that is, whether it's work, whether it's people that you fall in with, and you learn to be who you are and what you want. And as you say, the older you get, the more confident you feel about your choices, who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, what you prioritize in your own life, whether that's self-care or whether it's exercise, or whether it's family. I think they're all really important things.
So you would say, yes, you were more insecure when you were younger. I would say, yes, definitely I was more insecure when I was younger.
Insecure about a particular thing, or just insecure because of the period of life that it is?
I think insecure about lots of things, right? As you said, you've not found your stride. You've not found your way in life. Maybe you don't feel comfortable or confident, or like if I use myself as an example, I'm bald now, but for those that have known me for a long time, I've been receding pretty much since I was born, which is this is going to trigger me like the bullies did at school. But I will be very honest. I have been, or I was until I decided to shave it off during the pandemic. Up until that point, I was insecure about that because for years I'd had thinner hair. It was receding. Kids, teenagers, friends, adults, they can be quite cruel. And after a certain period of time, it wears you down. So definitely I was insecure. And I'm happy. Years ago, I would not have been happy to admit this, but I'm happy to say, yeah, at school I was bullied. Hated it. I just joked then and said, I hated my school years. I did.
Yeah.
Because between being a pubescent child and going through puberty and having different feelings and trying to do well at school and actually not really enjoying school because I didn't really like being told what to do, and you want to do your parents proud, you're trying to find a girlfriend, you're trying to have friends, you're going bold.
Yeah,
it's a crap time.
It's a lot to deal with. The bold does suit you.
Well, thank you.
The highlights, not so much.
We're going to go there, are we? And actually, we did toy with the idea of having the highlights picture on the table, but we will keep that on the shelf out of the way. Because, yes, in my effort to try and mask the fact that I was balding, I thought what would be a great idea would be to highlight my hair.
That was pre you and I. I've just seen the photograph evidence.
Oh, it was very pre you and I. And my mum, bless her, she said, oh my God, you look amazing. I think mums are always, I look like a piece of shit, let's be honest. What teenager dyes their hair? But you know what? We do those things.
We all do these things.
I actually tried once to dye my hair blue when we were on holiday. You know, those... what are they called? Hair dye kits that you can buy in the supermarket. I thought on holiday in France one year, why not go blue?
I don't know this story.
And my parents said, if you do that, you will regret it. You're also going to look fairly stupid. So think twice. And with my little bit of pocket money that they gave me as I was walking around Leclerc supermarket in France, I thought better of myself. And I spent the money on chocolate instead.
That was probably a wise decision.
Oh, it was. But yeah, I think, just bringing it back, I think bullying and I think being insecure at that time about something, you've either got to greet it head on, which is something that we want to instill in Gabriel. If something, triggers him, you confront it and you move on. Otherwise, it's just going to eat you up.
Yeah, of course it is. I think you and I have been together from what I would class as a fairly young age. And we've navigated... I mean, I was 18 and you were just turning 21. And throughout our lives, we have done some conventional things. We moved in together, we got married, very conventional. And then we've done the unconventional, let's move to Dubai after 12, 15 months after we got married. Yeah. Very unconventional, very not unsupported, because we do have very supportive families, but more questions about what it is and why. And I think nowadays Dubai is very much on the radar for people wanting to move out and achieve a better life. But back even just 8 years ago, it was really unheard of that people would move away and you're going to live in the Middle East and what's it like, and really people don't understand it until you kind of get here. But actually for us, it's probably the best decision we ever made.
Hands down, the best decision we made.
And now, at the time when people are asking you questions, again, your confidence, you're insecure about whether it's the right thing or not, and you're having a leaving party and you're thinking, am I going to be back in 6 weeks? But it's...
Or 2 years, or 5 years,
well,
or 10 years.
the 2 years thing. I remember my mum saying, must have been about a year or so in, she was like, oh, but you'll be back in the summer. And it just never occurred to me that we'd leave after 2 years, because it was just not... We were so at home here than I thought we would be.
Well... But okay, so two things. One, I think the supportive family, yes, but I think it's not necessarily supportive or not supportive. It's being educated.
Yeah.
You know, none of our family had lived in the Middle East before, so it's like, oh my goodness, that's very far removed from what we're all used to. But going back to the point about coming back in the summer, what do you put being settled and becoming settled and calling this home down to?
For me, it was my job, because the first year I was here, I didn't feel settled and it didn't cross my mind that we would stay here. And then after the summer break, we went home for a period of time and we went to Bali, I think.
We did.
And I took up a new job in the August at a new school, and I instantly found my people and felt much more at home. And
well, you actually interviewed for the job
in Bali.
And did you get the job whilst we were in Bali?
Yeah, I did. I did the interview one night, and then I think by the second day, obviously you're Wi-Fi hopping because you're in Bali. And it just got the notification. I think we were having dinner or something like that, and then we just took the opportunity to celebrate. So yeah, it was, and that for me was the turning point, because we were traveling to new destinations. We would never have gone to Bali from the UK. I know you can, but it's a much bigger, more expensive adventure. And I got my new job, and I instantly found people that I really connected with. I developed really well professionally, and for me that was the turning point of, actually, this feels like home.
Well, it's true what they say, isn't it? There's big portions of your life which, if some of those portions are not okay and you don't feel comfortable and happy, then it has an effect on others. For example, your employment, your relationship, moving house, having a child, ill health.
Yeah.
Like, if something is off in that balance, and actually, you getting a new job, us traveling, as having more disposable income than we knew what to do with, and being relatively young, because that was a long time ago, you do naturally just, I don't know, become is it becoming comfortable? Or
I think it's, especially since we moved, it's, for me, I think we're around a lot more like-minded people. The friends that we kept, or the friends that we have at home, have been through so much with us. But the friends that we meet along the way here are all here for the same reason. And I think that gives a perspective that no one else can give. And I think it's nice, because the great thing about being an expat, wherever you are, I think, in the world, is you're constantly open to meeting new people. And that is such a rich cultural thing that we have. And that is why I think raising Gabriel here is so important.
So you think that expat friends are important, our original OG friends are important. Would you say that we're similar and or unique? I'll just do that bit again. Would you say that we're similar or unique to other people that we know? For example, we have still a very good network of people and friends in the UK, right? Don't get me wrong, we've said goodbye to lots of people along the way, but would you say that's an expat thing, or actually it's a Cam and Mimi thing?
The keeping of the friends.
Not the keeping of the friends, because it makes it sound like some kind of like hot list, you're either on or you're off, and that's not what it is. But it's more so, use me as an example, Tom, friends for 33 years. You have friends that you've had for a long, long time that you went to school with. We've had friends that have seen us through thick and thin, through ups and downs. Is that a me and you thing because we spend time and nurture and invest in those relationships? Or do you think actually that's just a very common thing that people do?
I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think we can exclusively say it's just us, but I know the friends that I have around all make the effort to keep in touch and celebrate milestones and things like that. But I don't think it's unique to us. Some people might not have those lifelong friendships, and they might be very different, and therefore their relationships with friends might be stronger in other parts of their lives, whether that's with colleagues or maybe they're very close to the family. But yeah, I don't think it's a strictly us thing.
Okay, so then I'll snowball it and I'll say this, because I speak to, as you know, hundreds of people in a month thinking about making the move to Dubai. And some of them have done their research, know who I am, know my story, some don't. And so they'll say, so like, did you and your wife meet here? No, we met a long, long time ago. And I think, and I'm very fortunate that we have this relationship that we do, because actually it's been built over years and we got together in very different times, very different circumstances, very different points in our life. We've grown together. And I think growing together then keeps an element of you're true to your roots and you know where you've come from and you know what you're doing. But also there's an element of I push you sometimes, you push me sometimes, and we naturally level up. Whereas I feel like if you meet your said partner here in Dubai, you've already gone through some degree of, I don't know, reinvention. Have you ran away from something? I don't know. We came together, kind of writing the next chapter together.
But I also think if you move out here or you move anywhere in the world on your own, there is something to be said for the courage that takes. We came out together. You came out first. You had everything set up. We've heard some horror stories of where people have ended up staying in Dubai, and I came over and everything was gorgeously set up and furnished. So we were very lucky in that sense. But if you have the courage to do that by yourself, takes a strong person.
I mean, it takes a very strong person. And I think there's merit for both, right?
Yeah,
doing it together and writing that next chapter, but also... Okay, so then let me... I'm going way off tangent here. Let me ask you this. If you had your time again and you came out to Dubai on your own, just like paint a picture
As in
we'd
never met?
Yeah, like you're Amelia Noon, you came out to Dubai because you came out to be a teacher, whatever. Like, could you see yourself in a different life?
No, because I think almost half my life has been with you.
Oh.
Yeah. It has. Well, it has. It's fact. And we were married 10 years this year, which is a huge milestone. And yeah, we've been together 16 years at the end of the year. So it's hard because you want to think you'll be successful in any life you choose.
Yeah.
But my path that I've chosen has been to move out here with you. And I think, as you say, we're very fortunate. We've pushed each other. We've grown. But no, it's hard to imagine. Can you imagine it?
No.
You'd still be selling.
I'd still be selling something. God only knows what and where. But no, I think when I ask the question, it's very. I'm in my head now, thinking, oh my God, what? But no, there's always things that you think, oh God, imagine if we were this, or imagine we were there, or imagine we'd have done that, or.
We often say that we're glad that we don't have to date. Like we don't know what we'd do if we had to date again.
I will hold my hands up now and say I would be lost on the dating scene. Some of the messages and conversations I hear some of my team or friends having about dating, no.
No, we're safely in our niche. And I think we're in a point in our life where we are very comfortable saying no to certain things and very comfortable saying yes to the things that we really enjoy, things that bring us joy or value to our lives. And I think that only comes from going through those periods of change at a young age. Bullying, obviously, you talked about, but any kind of insecurity at that age level, you have to go through that. And I think it makes you a stronger individual as you get older.
Okay, so earlier on I said about the insecurities when you were younger, and listen, some people will breeze through school and they won't be bullied, some people will be bullied mildly, some people will be bullied severely. The common theme though, whenever you're going through life, is that you, in my opinion, you should constantly be evolving, right? And one thing that we've always done is we've never really stood still for too long.
No.
Not because we're chasing the next big thing, but because we're thinking to ourselves, well, okay, we've gotten our first place, we've gotten married, we've gotten a dog, we've pushed ourselves to new heights, changed jobs, moved countries, had a baby.
Yeah.
There's always a pushing out of the comfort zone, which I personally believe you should do in life. You know, if you're lucky, this is morbid, but if you're lucky, you've got 80 odd summers, all right, in your life. Take off the first 18 because you're a minor. Take off the last 10 or 15 because you're probably so old that you can't actually enjoy them. You've probably got like 50-ish summers. You've got to enjoy yourself. You've got to push yourself out that comfort zone. You've got to say either yes to something because it's going to be exhilarating, or no because you're going to focus on something else. And I think that's the part that comes from being an expat. And people may be listening in the UK and think, oh, shut up with the expat malarkey. Like, we get it, you moved to Dubai. Yeah, we did move to Dubai. And you know what? What's to say that in 5, 10, 20 years' time, we won't be somewhere else? You just don't know. But to do it together and to constantly push each other outside of our comfort zone, I feel keeps us feeling alive. And it makes you a stronger person. And you're allowed to then tune into the vibrations you don't like versus the ones that you don't.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Because I think driving forward, you and I have a very unique relationship in that you are waking up one morning and you're ready to buy a house or move and do something. Like, we got back from New York and we're moving to Dubai, like literally the next day. And I feel like I balance that out with a bit of, okay, let's draw up the plan of how that's going to happen and what does that look like in timelines.
No, you can do that on the plane on the way there. You'll be fine. No problem. No problem. No much planning. We need to go now.
And that is why I think we work ultimately.
A yin and a yang. I'm the gung-ho, you're the... What's the opposite to gung-ho?
I don't know.
I don't know anyway. We digress.
We digress usually.
So what are you saying then? That basically I'm the... Well...
You're the pilot, I'm the co-pilot, that, you know, you want to go full steam ahead into the storm, and I think actually is there a way to go round the storm to get to the same destination?
No, fuck it. Go to the eye of the storm. Now.
You need to go to the stop and you need a way to meet in the middle, and I think that's the best way to describe us. But we want to hear from you. What are your relationships like? Are you co-pilot and pilot, or are you completely 50-50? I think it's an interesting
I don't think you can
take.
be 50-50. And actually, in the past, we've had friends with partners who are no longer now with their partners. I've got 2 in mind. I'm not going to mention them. Or am I? I don't know. No, I won't.
No.
But I do think it's important because in one of those relationships, there was 2 pilots.
Yeah. And maybe that doesn't work so
and actually,
well.
2 pilots on a mission, not together, it can spell disaster.
2 pilots, fine. 2 pilots on 2 separate missions is what I would describe that as.
So you're honestly saying if you were more like me, in terms of now,
way.
you think it would work?
No way.
No, I need some balance, some inner calm.
You do.
But then you've also got other couples where you've maybe had such opposites, and even though we say opposites, or not we, but, you know, life, say, oh no, opposites attract.
Yeah.
If you've got a super duper pilot and a super duper laid back, let's go round the storm person,
Yeah.
sometimes that can, if you're so far apart, I do feel
and
like
again,
sometimes...
you might be working towards different goals.
And you say you're
so far
quite
apart.
calm and methodical, and
I am.
you're not on everything. If you want something and you've really got it in your head that you want it,
Then I'll push for it.
then we do.
Yeah.
Okay,
But that's okay, because then sometimes you do the support co-pilot.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
We switch
interchangeable.
hats. Yeah.
I like it. The modern relationship.
The modern relationship. And that is where we find ourselves today, feeling comfortable, feeling happy, feeling secure in our choices, in our lifestyle, and who knows where we're going to go from here.
But one thing I will say is if you are a balding guy, the best thing you can do is shave it off. Please no turkey implants or turkey transplants or anything. Just shave it off, embrace it. You'll feel so much better in the future, I promise you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.